So this is tentative lockdown day 1. I say tentative because I firmly believe that in 3 weeks' time we'll be looking at a full lockdown situation. Come here, good girl. This is my daily exercise with my Kitey, who is the bestest girl in the whole wide world. Yes, she is. Which I've rolled into my opportunity to care for vulnerable people, by whom I mean my parents, both of whom are in the 70s, both of whom are stroke victims. Good girl. They are physically more able than many people, but I still firmly believe that they shouldn't be out shopping, even though they intend to still do their weekly shop this week. I'm trying to provide them with top-ups daily. Himself works for the NHS, so he's getting into the hour slots that the supermarkets are doing in the mornings and just picking up essentials where he can. There's a complicated situation in that my mum she cares for, I'm going to use the word cares, she cares for a very elderly neighbour. I mean, my mum's, as I say, a pensioner herself, but the neighbour is 86. She's gradually going blind, almost completely blind in one eye now, and the other eye is failing. Had a fall a couple of years ago and has never been the same since. She had to have a plate put in her wrist. She actually last week was due to have that plate removed because it's causing more problems than it's solved. Of course, that operation was cancelled because they've closed theatres. This thing literally is taking over everything for the NHS, absolutely everything, which you can understand, but you can also understand that the NHS could have been in a better position to cope with a pandemic had it not been squeezed through several consecutive governments, and I include Labour in that, being a full-on Labour member and voter. Come here, Kite. Good girl. It's alright, we're encountering people. There we are. You stay with mummy. Walk close. Walk, Kite. Walk close. Good girl. So yeah, I think we could have been in a better position than we are. But we're not, so there's no point in dwelling on it. Good girl, walk on. Social distancing at its finest. It's nice when people actually abide by it though. I encountered an awful lot of people here on Sunday afternoon. It was crazy. There was a family of 10 out together, just occupying the whole area, running riot. You couldn't go down a single path without encountering a bunch of them, and they didn't get out of your way. I moved to the side for an elderly couple, and they just looked at me in absolute disgust. Anyway, by the by. So, my own situation at the moment, obviously my university is closed. They've today announced that they've closed the library as well, which obviously makes sense. And my work is closed. Still no idea as to whether or not I can claim any kind of pay for that, being that I'm a casual support worker with regular hours, but the agency don't set that. Money's getting tight already. I will get paid for last month at the end of this month, but I know that's got to last now. Oh, for fuck's sake, you can't move on this place at all. You really can't. Right, we wouldn't be in this situation either if it wasn't for all the dickheads that decided to go out in their droves the other day. We perhaps could have nailed this if people had actually willingly decided to do the sensible thing and keep themselves to themselves. Anyway, I've got to somehow continue my studies in the hope that I might be able to complete my MA this year. I think there's a very slim chance of that, because as I say, I think we're going to be in absolute full lockdown in the next 3 to 4 weeks. I spoke to my course leader yesterday. We had a video conference with myself and the rest of the full-timers, bar one who may as well not be. He reckons that we can claw this back because of the nature of our course, where postgraduate students go into the summer anyway and exhibit in September, October time, normally. He reckons that if this is in some way back to normal in 5 to 6 weeks, we can claw this back. So I see 6 weeks as the absolute deadline as to when I'm saying I've got to do another year on a full-time MA, which of course there's no point in me applying for jobs at the moment for September start. So whatever happens, it looks like I'm going to be on a very meagre wage for the next year, me and however many other people. So I'm trying to work from home. I spent yesterday sorting out 2 studio spaces, one for the library stuff where I'm needing to work with concrete. That's great. That's it's an old lock-up out the back of where I live. Do you want to go up that way? Okay. She picks the steepest paths. You are funny. You are. It's a kind of like a stable. We think it's an old stable at the back of where I live. It's disused. I've put padlock on it, set it up as a studio space for dirty work. It was surrounded by brambles, so I've cut those back, and it's now pretty workable. No electricity. I've got a couple of work lights, battery operated work lights set up in there. So that should do for concreting and any other kind of dirty practice that I need to work with. In terms of in clean work, when we moved into the flat, we earmarked one of the bedrooms as a studio space for me, but it was used entirely as storage, and gradually himself had filled it completely with his clothes. I don't think he realises how much stuff he actually has. It's not reasonable. Most of his stuff's still at my parents'. He's bought more. Anyway, yesterday I emptied it. So currently the dining room is full of his stuff now. He was supposed to put it away yesterday. He was supposed to put it away today. I let him off the hook yesterday because he'd just come off nights. Come on, Kite, this way. Kite! Oh, for fuck's sake. Get moving, come on. Good girl, we'll go that way then, yeah? Yeah, he came off nights yesterday morning, so I let him off on that. But today there's no excuse for it, I don't think. So I spent the whole day clearing it yesterday, and I bought this desk in October, glass top draftsman's desk. Beautiful thing. Bearing in mind I've always wanted a decent desk and a workspace, and this was the first opportunity that I got to have that. So this desk has been sat in the box since the 6th of October when I first ordered it, in the studio, up the corner, not being touched. Took all the bits and pieces out to put the desk together yesterday. Of course, the last carton I took out was the desktop. And as I went to lift the box, it folded, which isn't a good sign for a big sheet of glass, is it? Folding glass. And I could hear the sound of kind of like marbles. And a fragment, and I mean a fragment of glass dropped out of the box. So it was crushed. It wasn't just broken, it was smashed into smithereens. So I had this mad panic thinking, this is 120 quid down the drain. And that's in the sale. And on the off chance I contacted Hobbycraft, where I bought it from, and just explained that it had been sat in the box. Should we go this way? Good girl. Explained that it had been sat in the box and the reasons why it had been sat in the box. Basically, while I moved house and got myself back on my feet after a really rough period. Explained that I could see that there was not one in stock for delivery, but there was one in the Stafford store, which is my nearest store. And got an email back saying the Stafford store's closing after today, but if you want to go and exchange it today, you're more than welcome to do so. We've put one aside for you. So I shot over there with the old man. Managed to swap it. Still haven't built it, but that might be a job for tomorrow now. So that's a relief. Studio space sorted. Christened it by having my conference there yesterday, and I think it might just be a bit of a bolt hole for when times get erratic, which they invariably do, particularly where himself's concerned. But that's another story altogether. Partly why we're in the situation that we're in to begin with. So, I shouldn't be this worn out. Just walking and talking, I think. So yeah, I need to resume work. I don't just need to resume work though, I need to adapt it, because fortunately my work's about where I am anyway. It's the nature of place, the place that I exist, so I can adapt it to that. But the media, I'm going to have to go back to video. Glass is just not going to happen now, which is disappointing, but never mind. If nothing else, I am adaptable. So I need to go back to maybe things like light and playing on surfaces and going beneath the surface, looking at the microbes and the bacteria, and ultraviolet light revealing physical interactions that wouldn't always be seen. There's a lot to play with, but it's just getting some kind of streamlining going on now. I need to be thinking about nearly at the end of the second trimester on that, and the third trimester is where you make the work. They've told us to concentrate on the proposal for a site-based project module, which I'll be able to do. I'm a little bit clueless with it at the moment, but I'll be able to do it. And then the neo-avant-garde presentation is the next thing in line. If we can get those out of the way, I think it's just the main studio methodologies and master's project to finish, which is obviously all practical. But if the theory's out of the way, it might be another trimester rather than another year on the MA. But again, that has a massive knock-on effect. If I'm finishing in, well, it'll be Christmas in December instead of September. Again, that's a whole year of a potential teaching job out the window. So that's really shit, actually. But what can you do? No, none of us can control this. There's not much point in moaning about it. I sort of facetiously pointed out that himself and I both will be on lockdown for our birthdays in the next couple of weeks. We don't go out anyway, really. But it's nice to have the option, isn't it? But that is before the 3 weeks are up, so we might have more freedoms over our birthday than we would a couple of days later. I genuinely think they're going to stop us going out at all, because there's people everywhere. I know it's day one, but there's very little excuse. If you haven't got a TV, most of us had a text message from the government this morning basically saying stay home. I know people have got to go to work for certain jobs. Yes, they're allowed to exercise, but you're limited to 2 people in public. Well, everywhere I go, I've seen more than that. They've now said that children can see both parents if they live separately, which is the right thing to do, but that's also going to come with its own problems. A friend of mine has a 2-week-old baby and has to get a train to see the baby. So you're going on public transport and then potentially picking something up there. Obviously public transport getting to work is a major problem in London, especially at the moment, Birmingham too. No, it's going to be interesting to see how they rein this one in, because I really don't think this country's equipped. China nailed it, most of Asia nailed it. Although I have heard, I don't know if it's really the truth or not, I've not seen an actual source, that Hong Kong has relaxed some of its measures and immediately reinfections have started occurring. I'm not sure whether it is genuinely reinfections or whether it is just new cases. But that's worrying, because I don't see us relaxing measures anytime soon here. I'm reluctant now to go back. Normally I would sit and have a cup of tea with my parents. I can't do that. I got out the car, I delivered a bag of shopping just inside their carport, picked up Kite's lead. My mum leaves Kite out, I stepped back so I was nowhere near her. Explained what was in the bag for her, what I'd been able to get. And then called Kite to me. My dad stuck his head out the door and said hello. I'm really close to my parents. Up until September I lived with them, October. For a long time. I did move out for a while and I moved back in with himself. I was there through both of their strokes. I went with my dad in the ambulance when he had his stroke. I rang the ambulance when my mum had hers. I am very close to them. So this is hurtful. I know I'm doing the right thing by them by not having particularly contact with them, but I'm also doing the right thing by them by trying to bring them what they need. They can look after themselves physically, but I really don't want them shopping. If I can cut that down, that minimises contact. That said, who knows? Who knows how this thing's actually spreading? Right, I'm going to end this diary update because I expect I'll do quite a few more of these. Day 1, tentative lockdown. At least there's a beautiful sunset. At least I got my Kite. Here she is. For however long I manage. There's my girlie. She's so beautiful. What a good girl. So signing out.